mercy. Friend of the poor and the Lord and Master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Na Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bandhamui Savadana Mate Vandamui Savadana Mate Jara Prasade Bhai He Bhavaturiya Jai Jara Prasade Bhai E Bhavaturiya Jai E Bhavaturiya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoy Jahan Hate Krishna Prapti Hoy Jahan Hote Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Tite Te Koriya Kya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Tite Te Koriya Kya Adana Kori Ho Mane Akha Adana Kori Ho Mane Akha Sri Guru Charane Rati Etsa Uttama Gati Sri Guru Charane Rati Etsa Uttama Gati Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Achar Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Achar चक्षुदान दिलो ये जमे जमे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो ये जमे जमे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जात विद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जात विद्या विनाश जाते मेरे गा जहर चुरी था मेरे गा जहर चुरी था गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु लोकनाथ फिर जीवाना शील प्रभुपाद फिर जीवाना हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पर छाया हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पर छाया एवे जस सुख बुभाना एवे जस सुख बुभाना आहा प्रभु कर दया दया मोरे पादा छाया आहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पादा छाया आहा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पर छाया एवे जग त्रिभुवना शील प्रभुपाद पतित पावना जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद नमः विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Achatradikutani Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda Gadadhar Sivasadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhattavinda Jaya Gaura Bhattavinda Jaya Gaura Bhattavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranita Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Ashtotarsto Shri Simaresi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Ashtotarsto Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय. श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय. श्री मायापुर धाम की जय. जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय. नूरमनेति धाम की जय. तुलसी महारानी की जय. भक्ति देवी की जय. यमुना माई की जय. गंगा माई की जय. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. निताय गौ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल समवेता भक्त वृंद की जय. Agavesi assembled devotee, Agavesi assembled devotee, Agavesi assembled devotee, Agavesi Sri Sri Guru Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. So opening the book and reading from the nectar, wherever you open it, it is sweet. This is a room conversation in London, 1969. Prabhupada said, there is a version by Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya, he was a great acharya of this Vaishnava Sampradaya. His spiritual master gave him a mantra. My dear boy, you chant this mantra silently. Nobody can hear. It is very nice. So then he asked, what is the effect of this mantra? He said, by chanting this mantra, by meditation, you'll get liberation. So he immediately went out and in public, big meeting, he said that you can chant this mantra, you'll all be liberated. So he came back to his spiritual master, and his spiritual master was very angry. He said, I told you that you should chant silently. He said, yes, I have committed an offense, so whatever punishment you like, you can give me. But because you told me that this mantra will liberate, I have given it publicly. Let everyone hear and be liberated. Let me go to hell, I don't mind. I have disobeyed your order, let me go to hell. I am prepared, but by chanting this mantra, if anyone is liberated, let it be publicly distributed. His spiritual master embraced him. You are greater than me. You see, so if a mantra has so much power, why it should be secret? It should be distributed. People are suffering. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, chant this Hare Krishna mantra. Anyone who will hear, even the birds and beasts will hear, and they will be liberated. That's all. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All right, so we want to welcome His Holiness Dhanavir Swami here to New Ramanreti. Hare Krishna. Very happy to have you here, Maharaj. And also Janaki Devi Dasi is here from Puerto Rico. Mucho gusto. Did I say the name correctly? Yes. Nobody speaks English over there. Hare Krishna, welcome. And Dr. Ralph is also visiting here. Hare Krishna, nice to have you. And everyone else who's visiting, welcome. So today we have a door-to-door book distribution leaving at 3 p.m. from the parking lot. Just have your book bags with you. Have had your lunch already, be ready to go, and you'll meet Kayapani in the parking lot going door to door. Kayapani, hopefully tomorrow morning we're going to read all the devotees who have contributed to the book marathon for Srila Prabhupada's pleasure. So everyone who's made a donation or everyone who's taken books and distributed, and we'll get some stories from the marathon. And Kayapani has some really nice stories to tell as well. So that'll be tomorrow morning this same time. And then this evening, of course, we have, for devotees who would like to celebrate the New Year's in an auspicious way, the temple room will be going from 6:30 till midnight. Bhajans all night. We have a Homa at 8 p.m. Anyone can participate in that. At 10 o'clock, Prangovinda Prabhu will give a lecture, How to Make New Year's Resolutions. And there'll be Kirtan throughout the evening, and light prasadam will be served. If I can find Shanka, who went to Puerto Rico and hasn't come back yet. And then there's also a Harinam tonight in Gainesville, meeting at 9:30 at the Hippodrome Theater, and then going till 11:30. So if you'd like to take the holy name to the street, you can do that with the devotees. And Friday, there is a big Harinam in Jacksonville that leaves here at 11:15. We get to Jacksonville and chant from 1 till 3, and then there's prasadam at the house of Godriman Vishnu Priya just following the Harinam. And it's at the football stadium. You know, there's a Gator Bowl game. 100,000 people show up for those games. So it's great to be there chanting the holy name. Okay, and Maharaj gives class this morning. I'll tell you who dressed the deities first. This is our superstar lineup. The devotees who dressed the deities today assisted their spiritual masters, Shri Shri Radha Sham Sundar Nitai Priya Devi Dasi, Chota Radha Sham Sundar Shri Gaurangi Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Sharala Devi Dasi, Chota Krishna Balaram Prema Manjari Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Gaurnitai Devaki Devi Dasi, Chota Gaurnitai Gandharvika Devi Dasi, and the Gurus and Lord Nrsingadev Avaduta Nitai Das.
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Anachari Yamuna Tira Anachari Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Anachari Yamuna Tira Anachari Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajikacharya Ashtotara Satasisi Mari Sivakta Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikha Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham ki jai, Mathura Dham ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Yamuna Mayi ki jai, Ganga Mayi ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 58. Krishna marries 5 princesses. Text 7 through 12. Just chant this. 7th. Pritam Samagatya Krita Abhivadana Tvaya Ati Harda Ardha Drisha Abhirambitaha Aprishtavan Tam Kushalam Saha Snusham Pitri Svasaram Pariprishta Bandhavaha Pritam Samagacya Kata Bivadanas Tayati Hardardra Drisha Birambitaha Aprishtavangstam Kushalam Sahashnusham Pratisvasaram Pariprishta Bandhavaha Pritam Samagatya Krita Bivadanas Tayati Hardardra Drisha Birambitaha Aprishtavangstam Kushalam Sahashnusham Pitrisvasaram Pariprishta Bandhavaha Kritam Samagatya Krita Bivadanas Tayati Hardardra Drisha Virambitaha Aprishtavangstam Kushalam Sahashnusham Pitrisvasaram Pariprishta Bandhavaha Someone else can chant. Some men can chant. Someone else. Kirtan to Queen Kunti. Samagatya, going. Krita, offering. Abhivadanaha, his obeisances. Taya, by her. Ati, extreme. Hardha, with affection. Ardra, wet. Trisha, whose eyes. Abhirambita, embraced. Aprishtavan, he asked. Tam, from her. Kushalam, about her welfare. Saha, together. Snusham, with her daughter-in-law Draupadi, Pitri of his father Vasudeva, Swasaram, the sister, Pariprishta, inquired in detail, Bandavaha, about their relatives living in Dwaraka. Translation. The Lord then went to see his aunt, Queen Kunti. He bowed down to her, and she embraced him, her eyes moist with great affection. Lord Krishna inquired from her and her daughter-in-law, Draupadi, about their welfare, and they in turn questioned him at length about his relatives in Dwaraka. Purport.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur envisions that as Lord Krishna was sitting on his seat, he saw his Aunt Kunti approaching in great eagerness to see him. He then rose at once, quickly went up to her and offered his obeisances. Her eyes moistened with extreme love, she embraced him and smelled his head.
You can read text 8, the translation.
So overcome by love that her throat choked up and her eyes filled with tears, Queen Kunti remembered the many troubles she and her sons had endured. She thus addressed Lord Krishna, who appeared before his devotees to drive away their distress.
This is extraordinary that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of everything, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, who lives in his own abode in Goloka Vrindavan and is enjoying himself with all of his eternal associates there. Still, he comes to the material world, to this God-forsaken place, not completely forsaken, but somewhat forsaken. And he comes and he interacts with devotees, mostly, some non-devotees also. And he interacts in loving exchange. Why does he do this? Because, first of all, he's a very loving person. He's the supreme lovable. He's the most lovable and he's the most loving. Maybe we've met some loving people in our lives. I remember some elderly lady or something like that was just so loving, wanting to do everything. Would you like this? Would you like this? Take this, take this. So loving. Maybe it was because of family relations, or maybe it was just because they're loving for everyone. We get some idea. We appreciate that. Where does that loving tendency come from? It comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has all the qualities. He has male qualities, female qualities, transcendental male and transcendental female qualities. Everything that we can imagine, everything, janma jasya yataha, everything comes from him. It all emanates from him. There's nothing that's outside of him. Nothing that exists, just like the scientists, or shall we say so-called scientists, so foolishly say that this universe came about by chance from the void, by accident. This is, I think, the epitome of foolishness, to make such a statement which has no proof, no evidence, and no logic, no sense. A big universe with so many persons, living entities, order, design, beauty, emotion, everything, and to say it all comes about, it comes out of the void, which of course is not even existent. There's no such thing as a void. And even if there were such thing as a void, then the void would be, by definition, nothing. That's what void means. So how does everything in the universe come from nothing? Next time you meet a scientist, you could ask him that, if he could explain that. Of course, they try to give some Big Bang theory and so many things. We don't accept it at all. Prabhupada didn't accept any of their ideas because they're all based on the Big Bang. Life comes from matter. Matter comes from the chunk. Where does the chunk come from? It comes from the void. It all comes back to nonsense talk. But we're fortunate that we've been properly saved from such a foolish theory, because when one accepts such a foolish theory, then nothing means anything because there's no purpose. What is the purpose of void? What is the purpose of accidents? What is the purpose of matter? It doesn't mean anything. And then the life, if there's no such thing as a living entity apart from matter, then when the body is no longer usable, then that would be the end of it. When the body is discarded, it's either burned, or nowadays they're burning more. It's cheaper. And Prabhupada gave the good practical explanation. Yeah, better to burn the body. Why waste so much land that you could be growing food? So either burned or eaten if it's thrown. Or if you put it underground, then it decomposes, becomes earth. Or if you just leave it, throw it somewhere, or put it in water, then it's eaten by jackals or vultures or fish or something. So that's their idea, that after giving up this body, there's nothing. That's the end of it. Swamiji, Professor Kotowski said, after this body is finished, that's it, there's nothing else. Prabhupada considered that the classic moment of ignorance. So, the point is that if nothing exists after this life for us, then what is the use of it? Then the use is, of course, just to enjoy your senses as much as possible for now. Don't worry about what's right or what's wrong, because how can there be any right or wrong? And there's no life after death, so there's no one will come. Even beg, borrow, or steal. Charvak Muni, he said, beg, borrow, or steal. Get ghee. Don't worry. Get sense gratification, that's the point. Don't worry about the future, because when he was an atheist, so when the body's finished, there's nothing left. The classic atheistic view. So this atheism is certainly will spawn unlimited sinful activities. Because as soon as you take God out of the picture, as soon as you take God out of everything, then sins just come unlimitedly. They just flow like a huge waterfall. There's no way to stop them. As soon as God is removed, then it's just like as soon as you remove the sun from the sky, it's darkness. Krishna Surya Samamaya Haya Andhakar. Jahan Krishna Tahan Nayi Maya Radhikar. Krishna is like the sun. He illuminates everything. He's the source of all luminous objects. He's the pure goodness, Pavitram. All purity comes from him. All dharma comes. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma comes from him. Dharma means what is right, what is religious, what is not sinful. And as soon as you take God out, then your so-called dharmas, godless dharmas, this dharma, that dharma, it all becomes full of sins. So they have removed God from, at least from so-called science, from the educational departments. Now, generally they don't allow much God to be brought in to the educational system for the children. It's not very much appreciated. And they give nice reasons why. They say, well, because there's so many different religions and we don't want to confuse the children, so we just keep it out. Well, the result is sinfulness. In the world, anyone who's an astute observer would have to say that the world is becoming overwhelmed with sinful activities. Now, they may not know what sinful activities are, but that doesn't mean that they're not happening. The Bhagavatam gives Parikshit Maharaj, and the Acharyas have indicated that there's 4 pillars of sinful life: illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, meat eating. And we can see those things are on the rise. There's not any decrease. Unlimited illicit sex, unlimited meat eating, unlimited intoxication, unlimited gambling. Now every city has a gambling casino practically of any size. Before it was one, Las Vegas, then somewhere else, or Monte Carlo. Now practically everyone, and now it's online. You can gamble, you can have a list of everything. And no one's upset. And if they're upset, they don't know what to do about it. They're also somewhat captivated by it. So they're a little afraid to criticize because they may lose some of their own attachments. They may lose some of their own sense gratification. So it's a horrible situation. We shouldn't be complacent or satisfied that everything's going okay. Visualize world peace. They say sometimes, bumper stickers, visualize world peace. United Nations, united. League of Nations. One failure after another. There's no peace. There's no purity. There's no happiness. Because God has been removed. It's like, yes, they're right actually. Because they remove God, everything is void. Just like if you have 0, it's 0. And if you have 2 zeros, it's also 0. And if you have so many rows of zeros, it's still 0. As soon as you put the 1 there, then it has value. But they have removed that 1, the Supreme Krishna. We're very thankful to know this, and we need to know scientifically, philosophically, but in addition to that, we can appreciate how Krishna is interacting in loving ways, in wonderful pastimes that are so adorable, so entertaining, so mysterious, everything. We have both sides. We have the scientific philosophy, which we need to know, and we can appreciate Krishna's wonderful pastimes. Even with Arjuna, he's speaking philosophy, but the relationship is so nice. He's chastising him, and he's acting as a friend, and we shouldn't think that it's just somebody made it up. Somebody made up Bhagavad Gita and made up the Vedas. to put forward some religion, and it's all a new thing, only within the last several hundred years. No, it's eternal. Okay, shall we continue? Let's read the next text, please.
Translation. Queen Kunti said, "My dear Krishna, our welfare was assured only when you remembered us, your relatives, and gave us your protection by sending my brother to visit us. For you, the well-wishing friend and supreme soul of the universe, there's never any illusion of us and them. Yet even so, residing within the hearts of all, you eradicate the sufferings of those who remember you constantly."
Yes. Even those who live in the material world. And the material world is meant for suffering. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It's meant for miseries. But Krishna is so kind and so powerful that even in the material world, if one remembers Krishna, what does it say here? That who remember you constantly, and their miseries are eradicated. And I think to some extent we've all experienced that since taking up Krishna consciousness. We're not able to do it perhaps constantly, to remember Krishna constantly. We try our best, but to whatever extent we have been able to remember Krishna continuously, our miseries are eradicated. We don't have to worry about death. That's the biggest misery. If someone says, "What are you going to do about death?" we say, "Well, there's no death." What do you mean there's no death? What about when the body's different? We have a complete answer, therefore that's not a problem. What about old age? That's a problem. It's not a problem. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that one who's intelligent, he laments neither for the living nor the dead. One who's actually intelligent doesn't take so seriously the activities of this body. Just like if a garment wears out, it's not that someone should get all emotional. The garment wore out. I just don't know if I can make it after this. No, the garments, they wear out. A well-adjusted person doesn't become all upset when a garment wears out. So there's no problem there. The garments will wear out. He's not disturbed. But what about the inconveniences, the pain? Matras, parshas, takonteya, shitoshna, sukaduk. You have to tolerate. You might as well tolerate, because you're going to have to tolerate it anyway. Even if you don't believe in God, you don't serve Krishna, you'll still have to tolerate the pains and miseries of old age. But if you tolerate and you go on serving Krishna, then you get the miseries eradicated. There are many examples of devotees who, in their aged state, are quite happy and not afraid of the impending departure from the body, who are happy, and even though they have to face some pains, they're happily engaged in remembering Krishna and serving Him. Purport?
The intelligent Queen Kunti here points out that even though Lord Krishna is dealing with her affectionately as a relative, he's not compromising his position as the well-wishing soul of the universe. In other words, the Lord doesn't play favorites. As he says in Bhagavad Gita 9:29, Samohang sarva bhuteshu, I'm equal to everyone. So while the Lord reciprocates with all souls, it is natural that those who love him intensely receive his special attention, for they want him and nothing else.
Okay, Yudhishthira Vacha, Kim nu acharitam shreyo navedaham adishvara vara yogeshvaranam durdarsho yanodrishta kumedasam. Translation.
King Yudhishthira said, O Supreme Controller, I do not know what pious deeds we fools have done so that we can see you, whom the masters of yogic perfection rarely see.
Yes, we have such a wonderful thing to look forward to, that when we become completely purified and completely devoted to Krishna, that then we can relate with him very intimately, as we like, either as the perfect master, or the perfect friend, or the perfect parent, or the perfect child, or the perfect lover. We have all this to look forward to. And not only that, but it's not just Krishna alone, but Krishna and his whole entourage, his associates, his paraphernalia, everything, which is so nice. Goloka Vrindavan, with its varieties, unlimited varieties, so pleasing. The music there is millions and trillions of times more beautiful and attractive than the music here. We're attracted to the little bit of pleasure that we get from the material nature, but just imagine how much more blissful is the spiritual nature. Krishna is the supreme connoisseur of everything. He's such a great artist. Who can duplicate his artwork? Who can make flowers that have fragrances and they grow and then they reproduce themselves? They have the nice, supple, so many things. Who can do that? Who's more intelligent that he can create, just like Einstein's? Einstein was very intelligent, but he couldn't create another Einstein. So Krishna is he's creating Brahma, who's billions of times more intelligent than Einstein. And not just one Brahma, but millions and trillions of Brahmas. So he's the most intelligent, he's the most artistic, he's Nataraj, he's the greatest dancer. When he was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, who could dance on the hoods of Kaliya, fighting him, smashing him at the same time very artistically? That's Krishna. Or his Rasalila, it's so famous, his dancing with Rasalila. Everything. Let's continue.
Translation. Requested by the king to stay with them, the Almighty Lord remained happily in Indraprastha during the months of the rainy season, giving joy to the eyes of the city's residents. Purport. If possible, the readers of the Bhagavatam should try to correctly chant the Sanskrit verses, which are exquisitely poetic.
Yes. So, from this we can learn that Krishna, although he's completely independent and he's self-satisfied, Atmarama and Swarat, still he's very moved by the love of his devotees and their requests. Here the residents, this is Hastinapur. Is that where this is? This Hastinapur, that they're requesting him to stay. Indraprastha. Okay. So he's being requested to stay, and he agrees. He changes his plans. Sometimes he's planning to go, and the devotees say, but we can't bear to be without you. So he says, okay, I'll stay. You can't. This is a very important part of God. God is not, he doesn't just have the Ishvara Bhava controlling and forcing everyone, but he also likes to be the servant of everyone. He's serving everyone, giving them all their necessities, and he especially, samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshasti napriya. But he especially likes to serve and reciprocate with his devotees because they have given up everything for him. They have nothing else. They don't have any. Just like a mother has so many children, she may have 10 children, but the newborn baby gets first attention. The others are as dear to her, but because the newborn baby is so helpless, the mother has to give attention. So those who are not helpless, it's not a derogatory thing to be fully dependent on Krishna. He likes it. You might think, well, why doesn't he want us to grow up and take care of ourselves? Why do we have to depend on him all the time? Just like parents don't like that. Why are you asking me? Go do it yourself. But that's not very nice, because we may say like that, but loving parents, still they go on reciprocating with their children. Even if they ask for something, they help. Whatever they ask for, the reciprocation of love is so great. Thank you very much. If there are any questions.
Thank you, Maharaj, for a very enlightening discourse. Towards the beginning of the class, you mentioned a logic that comes up all the time, this idea of Big Bang and how can everything come from a void. It's completely illogical. And there are many books about that, even by devotees. Vyasaki Prabhu just came out with a book about cosmology. The question I have is that a little later in the class, you said something that I'm trying to connect the two statements, and it's one of these so-called apparent contradictions, is that you were saying that if we remove Krishna, then everything becomes zero, everything becomes a void. And yet at the same time, the atheists, they remove Krishna, so everything's a void, but at the same time, all the phenomenon, all the sounds and forms and phenomenon of this world is still going on for them. So, if on the one hand, it's contradictory that everything could come from the void, but how at the same time do we have this logic that if we remove Krishna, then everything's a void, and yet everything is still there? So,
everything is illusion, maya, that which is not. It's not that it doesn't exist. The Buddhists say that everything is void. We don't say everything is void. We say everything exists. The Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. That's correct. Mithya means false. Not exactly false, but illusory. So everything exists. We don't say it's imaginary. There's a difference between imaginary and illusory. It's not exactly what it appears like. Just like a fruit that's reflected on a mirror appears like a fruit that you could eat, but it's only a reflection, so it's illusory representation of the reality.
So am I understanding correctly that when we use this language where we even say, everything is void, was mentioned in this class, or Prabhupada would say, so many zeros, everything is zero. So, in other words, we understand that in the sense that everything is zero, in the sense it's useless. without Krishna. Not that everything is literally a void or literally
Yeah,
zero.
that's correct. It's
Okay.
not. It's not that it doesn't exist. It exists, but it's not what it appears to be, and it's not a source of pleasure.
Yeah, this is a little historical thing about the history of science with the Big Bang. It was actually initially proposed and championed by a Belgian priest who wrote a book about it. Well, and he was an associate of Einstein, and he's obviously a theist. And then later on, the Pope actually endorsed his book as a confirmation of Catholic theology. So, I guess my punchline is, how is the Big Bang absolute proof of atheism or absolute proof of anything as a speculative theory?
Well, it's based on atheism.
Well, this person, George Lemaitre, was a
He may
Belgian
say
priest.
he's a theist, but anyone who could come up with such a theory is an
Yeah,
atheist.
but he said he was a theist, and his life actually exemplified a theist.
Then he doesn't understand God properly.
Well,
How could the universe come without God? It's like that one.
That's
There was
not
that
his
one
theory.
book. There was that one book by Hare Krishna. Why bad things happen to good people. He doesn't understand God. Everything comes from God. Janmadhyasya, basic. That's the first aphorism of Vedanta Sutra.
Why are you assuming that he believes everything doesn't come from God?
How could the universe come from a big bang if there's no God?
Well, is that your theory or his theory?
Well, you said the Big Bang Theory came from him. Now, if it's been altered since he presented it, that's a different story. If he presented it with...
He was the original champion.
Okay, if he championed it with everything comes from God, and then by natural sequence, then we can accept that, because that's Bhagavatam also. But if he presented it
I would agree with that. There's a lot of complexity that one could consider. This topic.
But if he's saying it all comes from the nothing, which is what they say now, then that's incorrect.
Well, when we
And
say
if it's been adapted
yeah.
since his original presentation, then it just degraded.
When we're saying they, we mean every last person who's ever discussed the Big Bang in the name of science thinks one thing about it on a metaphysical or philosophical platform.
Sorry?
Well, when we say they think this about the Big Bang.
Big Bang as it stands now.
Yeah, but
If you visit Hayden Planetarium, which is the largest planetarium in the world in New York, they present a very mind-grabbing, shaking, vibrating, amazing presentation of how everything came about by a Big Bang, and they say it comes from the void. So we're referring to that particular prevailing theory.
Sure.
How did this explosion take place? Who caused it?
Yes. Okay, maybe last question.
I was requested to have a dialogue with the head minister down here at 146, a big Baptist church, and he wanted to discuss creation. So he said that God created this material world out of nothing. So I said, well, maybe it's Verdun, maybe it's unmanifest. He says, no, it's out of nothing. So I says, nothing... there's nothing independent of God. There's nothing can exist outside of God. He said, yes.
Okay, well, there may be some differences of word usage in that we can. The main thing is, I appreciate that he believes that God created at least. And his nothing, we could discuss Pradhan, as you said, that's nice. Non-manifest, avyakta, so we accept that. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.